guys, happy Sunday. I hope that you're all safe and well. Today we're going to be talking about a huge topic that a lot of people have asked me about in the past, and that is multitasking on set. For those of you who actually don't know this, for our last film, Batman Terror of Arkham, I did too much on set. I was the director, photographer, I was acting in it, which, let's face it, we'll just forget about that right here and right now. I was doing casting checks, making sure that everyone was there on set. I was producing. Now, for those of you out there who do short films, you'll know that multitasking is key, but there's a very fine line between what's too much and what's enough. So today we're going to discuss that a bit more. First things first, if you want to multitask on set, make sure that you have an idea of how all different roles work in production. There are lots of really good informative videos out there about how to work on a film set and, you know, different things you'll need for certain areas of filming, like if you're a gaffer or you're a best boy, things like that. So channels that I would recommend, Film Riot or Corridor Crew. If you guys don't follow their channels right now, I'll post them in the link below. They're really awesome. They have millions of subscribers. If you've not heard of them, I don't know how the hell you're here, to be honest, but I'm very grateful. So whilst I'm here, don't forget to subscribe. But the videos are really informative, and they tell you everything you need to know about a specific role. If you guys want to do any more research after that, it's completely up to you, but they give you the basic necessities you need to know as a filmmaker for those areas of expertise. So that would be my first tip: do your research. Second tip, I'm just going to get out of the way, is something that as a filmmaker I always fall behind on, and I'm sure many others out there do the exact same thing, and that is staying hydrated on set. You'd be very surprised what a bottle of water can do for you as a director or filmmaker on set in general. I mean, the auction shoot we did for Batman, until I was halfway through filming my scenes in the suit, which halfway through the day, we'd already done 4 or 5 hours at this point, I realised that I hadn't even had a drop of water since being on set. And it's really important because at the end of the day, it's going to really affect your focus, and it's going to affect the way that you treat people on set. And if you don't stay hydrated, what's going to happen is you might think you're fine up until the end of the shoot. What will happen is your legs will stop working. This is genuinely what happens to me. I don't know if this happens to you or if there's just something wrong with me. My legs stop working first, I lie down, and then I just go to sleep for about 20 hours straight. So stay hydrated. Number 3 is going to be quite simple again. Don't overcomplicate things. The amount of times I've gone onto set with a clearer vision of what I want, with storyboards, the assistant directors knowing what I want, the director of photography knowing what I want, and then it's all gone up in smoke, is ridiculous. So one thing I definitely recommend is not overcomplicating your shoot. There can be a lot more said from someone sat here looking at a tripod with a medium close-up than a dolly zoom across the room. At the end of the day, what's important is the message that you're saying as a filmmaker, and it can save you a lot of time and hassle on set and a lot of stress as well. Life of a filmmaker is very stressful. I'm expecting to be bald by I'm 30, so, you know. Number 4 kind of relates to number 3 a bit. Work with what you've got. If you write a specific shot or visual effect into your film that you don't think you can achieve, don't do it. Simple as that. If you want to try it and you've got the time, that's absolutely brilliant. Do 2 alternatives. Do the more complicated one and do the easier one. It's something that I've not really done in the past myself because I've been very stupid with how I've looked at things on set, but it can save you a lot of time and hassle in the future if you have alternative takes to things, alternative ways of doing things, because the last thing that you want is what we had to do on Batman, where we had to go back and reshoot things. Now, I'm not saying that the reshoots look really bad or anything like that, but because I didn't take the time to think about it because I was too busy on set, I didn't take into account how difficult things would be in post-production. The worst phrase I can ever hear in a production meeting is, "We'll fix it in post." It's something that we used a lot in the past. It's something that I refuse to use in future because at the end of the day, it's the last thing you want to do. It's the last thing that anyone wants to really do. Work with what you've got, don't overcomplicate things, and you'll be absolutely fine. And my 5th and final tip for today's video is something that's kind of self-explanatory. Don't take on too much at once. If you've got a day of filming ahead of you where you know you've got to shoot 5 scenes in advance, prepare for failure, because the realistic answer is nothing's going to go swimmingly on that day. The more time you've got to do things, the better it is for you, and it's something that I've never taken into account before, but with our next production, Relic of the Jedi, it's something that we've really accounted for in every department. We know with that production we've got at least 7 days of shooting ahead of us, and one thing that we've taken into account is things going wrong, because if you can take those things into account beforehand, they might not go wrong on the day, but at least you've accounted for that time-wise. And I know, you're never going to be able to account for absolutely everything that happens on set, but if you can put those factors into motion before you even enter a shoot, you're going to be a lot better prepared than you would be if you didn't. So these are just a few of the tips that I use on an everyday basis when we're on a film shoot to make sure that we get the best results possible. At the end of the day, everyone's working for the same vision, and if they're not, they shouldn't be on the set. No matter how much you multitask on set, the only thing that really matters is the end result, because at the end of the day, it's everyone's reputation on the line. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope that it made some form of sense to you, and I hope that it helps you with your productions in the future. If you'd like to incorporate any of your suggestions of what we should be doing next, please post it in the comment section below. If you consider subscribing, it'd really help the channel out, and I'll see you next Wednesday.